Yeah. Good evening. We're in Studio 6C today, and it's Saturday, April 26, 2025. And it's my pleasure and true honor to speaking with World War II hero, I should say humble World War II hero, Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today?
Good, very good.
You look nice in your gray or brownish matching outfit. It looks very nice on you. And how was your dinner today?
Good, very good, yeah.
I heard you had a special visitor.
What's
you and Amber talk about?
Well, she's talking about the babies she's got hold of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amber comes to visit Mr. Jeckovich 4 or 5 times a week. She is, Amber Nicole Jeckovich is Mr. John J. Jeckovich's great-granddaughter. Correct?
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, Mr. Jeckovich this week also had a great-granddaughter named Ellie Jeckovich.
Yeah.
Great-granddaughter.
Yeah. She's still young.
Yeah, great-granddaughter. Amber is an avid surfer. She surfs around the world and a full-time missionary. Did you two have a nice conversation today?
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Mr. Jeckovich, we say, is a humble hero, as we did not know he was in World War II until 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. People in front line of the combat, they never tell their stories. They're always hush-hush. The ones doing the talking are the ones on the rear echelon.
Yeah.
Right? Right? I have your enlisted record in front of me, Mr. Jeckovich.
Is what?
I have your listed record in front of me from the Department of Navy in Fort Knox, New York, and they tell me you received a Bronze Star, a Purple Heart, an Army Good Conduct Medal, American Campaign Medal, a European African Eastern Medal with 3 Bronze Stars, a World War II Victory Medal, Army of Occupation Medal with German clasp, a Combat Infantry Badge. That's what you're in, a Combat Infantry, right?
Yeah.
You also have a Sharpshooter Badge with carbine, pistol, and machine gun bars.
Yeah.
You have a Marksman Badge with rifle bars. And you also have an Honorable Service Lapel Button, World War II. Wow, that is quite a list.
That's the combat area, suicide area.
That is quite a list. This came from the Department of Navy from Fort Knox. Wow, that's your Rewards and Decoration branch of the Army. This is amazing. And also has your enlisted record. It says your dog tag number. What's your dog tag?
42969.
Yeah, you got it right on the money. I'm looking at your enlistment. You were living at the time at 3063 Orleans Avenue.
Yeah.
Correct? You were born on October 17th, 1925.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, 2025 we're in now. Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100. Hear it? It's knocking. They also say that your occupation was you were a sheet metal worker.
Sheet metal. I worked for my Uncle Andy, yeah.
At Croydale, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was after school and weekends.
And the place of entry of going into the service was Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Ardennes, Central Europe, Rhineland. Now that's where the Battle of Bulge takes back, to Ardennes Forest.
Yeah. Ardennes, yeah.
How much do you think you weigh now, Mr.
151.
You're 187 then.
Huh?
You're 187 when you enlisted.
And when I enlisted at 187.
Geez, you lost 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Holy hell. You gotta pack it on, man. You're too skinny. Special remarks. M1 carbine. 45 caliber pistol. HMG first class gunner. Lapel button issued. And machine gun. What type of machine gun did you operate?
That was heavy weapons.
And tell us what they
water
look
cooled,
like.
yeah. Water cooled.
Water cooled. Tell us how big of an operation it was.
No.
You have someone holding a tripod and stuff.
The tripod and the receiver, and then the amp was there.
So how many men made up?
It was a platoon. And the guys were putting ammunition up all the time.
Yeah, a lot of ammo.
Yeah.
And how much did the tripod weigh?
Probably 150 pounds.
So let me try to understand this. You have several men that makes this heavy-duty machine gun operate. You have to have it water-cooled.
Yeah.
30 below, Battle of Bulge. How did you keep the water from freezing?
Antifreeze.
Okay, okay. And then you'd throw out a couple thousand rounds, and then what would you do?
Move.
How come you moved?
They get you zeroed in.
And that would have been it.
Yeah.
Did you run the heavy-duty machine gun through your whole time during the war?
Did I run it?
Yeah. Were you operating?
I was a heavy weapon. That was my job.
So you didn't use nothing else?
I used a Grand rifle. I had a Grand rifle.
M1 Grand?
Yeah, and I had with the carbine. I had a carbine.
But I don't understand. During the war, did you mostly use the heavy-duty machine gun?
Well, when you were in the supporting mode, yeah, when you were supporting the troops up ahead of you, yeah, you supported.
Did you use the pistol much?
No, never used it.
How about the M1?
M1 all the time.
Wow. Did you ever have a bayonet?
No, they wouldn't put a bayonet on, no.
Was any soldiers had a bayonet?
They weren't allowed to put it on.
Weren't allowed to.
Maybe that was against the Geneva Convention.
Was that because it was against the Geneva Convention?
Right.
Was that because it was against the Geneva Convention?
No, they didn't want someone get killed with a bayonet sticking out.
Yeah. Was there much hand-to-hand combat during World War II?
Some spots, yeah.
How about compared to World War I?
World War I was bad. They had the gas and everything else then.
And hand-to-hand combat?
Yeah.
Wow. When that sniper put a bullet in your shoulders, did you ever actually see him after you took the shot?
No, he was up at the window.
So you don't know who that was?
No.
Wow. And then when you went to Paris after that?
I went to the hospital there, yeah.
Paris, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next time a dirty bomb blew up on you, you went back to Paris?
Yeah.
So you went to Paris on 2 different occasions?
Yeah.
On both those occasions, was Renee there on both occasions?
A what?
On those 2 different occasions, was Renee there on both occasions?
My what?
You knew Renee, the artist, right?
Oh.
The former nun. You got shot in the shoulder, you went to the hospital in Paris.
Yeah.
I take it Renee was there.
Yeah.
Then months later, you get bombed, shrapnel's still in your leg, you went back to Paris. When you went back the second time, was Renee there?
No, she wasn't. Really, she went, she got shot. Remember, she got shot.
So what happened to her the second time you went to see her?
What happened, she come to see me and then she left.
And then how'd she get shot?
Well, she was drawing portraits of these German high uppers, and they were talking among themselves, bragging on what they're doing, and she took the information that they were giving her, talking about, she gave it to the Allies.
The French resistance?
Yeah. And then they found out about it and they took out and shot her.
And that was it?
Yeah.
So the second time you went back, she was dead.
Yeah.
Did you go by her apartment to see what was going on?
Yeah, but the apartment was occupied again. And they either took the stuff out and the relative took out or something. I don't know. I was on the other end of the country.
Okay. So you never seen her?
No.
She's dead?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is interesting that we got from the State Department here. It has a lot of good facts. U.S. AFT refrigerations, 10 lessons complete.
Yeah, I was taking courses in them, yeah.
When you're in the Army?
Yeah.
I didn't know you'd take courses there.
Oh, yeah. That was still in the States, though.
Oh, okay. So did you ever use that?
Well, I only had 10 issues.
You're very smart. That's exactly what it says, 10 lessons. I don't know how the hell you remember that. And they rate you under their race. It says you're white, but there's also a check mark for Negro, and there's a check mark for other specify.
But what was that?
They have it on here. They want to know your race. There's 3 boxes: white.
Oh yeah, I checked it. White.
Negro, or other specify. Boy, that's pretty interesting.
How did you get a hold of those papers there?
You had them sent to you by Kevin Noss.
Yeah, but where'd you get them? They were there.
We had them. We
They
found
were in
them.
a folder.
And yeah, well, they're going back in the folder. We have many copies. We have many copies. It says you're faithful according to Major Rise, R-I-E-S. It says, it is an honor to issue these awards in recognition of John J. Jeckovich, a faithful and dedicated service to our nation during a time of great need.
Yeah.
Wow.
18 minutes.
That's really interesting.
That's good.
Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. As usual, Mr. Jeckovich, we get many text messages. Many of them we answered many times about longevity and about living a simpler life and about the book. They ask you, what store can I buy the book at?
You can buy it.
The book is not for sale, never has been or never will be for sale. Mr. Jeckovich certainly doesn't need money. This book is written, and how many pages?
849.
This book was written for the sole purpose of the people younger than him to have some life lessons, to learn a few things. Mr. Jeckovich's mind is like a library. He's had many businesses. He worked at Kimberly-Clark for 35 years, and he was married for 69 years.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of information. So any questions you'd have for this World War II frontline combat infantry veteran, text them at 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. And all your text messages will be answered. And many times we repeat the answers because we always have a fresh batch of listeners and we want to include them in, right?
Yeah.
Include them in. How many years did it take you to write the book?
I say 6 months.
6 months?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's off and on.
Wow. You didn't have access to a computer, did you?
No.
So how would you do your research?
Dictionary.
Dictionary. Did you go to the library much?
Yeah. I spent a lot of time in the library. Yeah, I love the library.
Mm-hmm. As a boy, you spent most of your days in the library.
Well, when I could, yeah.
As a boy, you were an avid reader. Tell us your story about reading as a boy.
I had a Book of the Month club I belonged to.
And how did that go?
They gave you a synopsis of the books that they were selling that week, that month, and I took what I wanted. And I took a book and I had it under the bed.
And how did you get the books?
Through the mail.
Did you have to go there prior to your mother?
No, I put it under the bed.
No, but how did you intercept the books in the
mailbox? I got home early. She got home at 4 o'clock.
And she didn't want you to have these books, right?
No, she was spending too much money.
Okay. Wouldn't a mother today just love having her son to be an avid reader, get him off the cell phone, get him off the computer, and actually read books?
Yeah.
Read books? And where did you hide these books at?
Well, when the book was come, I'd take it in my room and put it in the cupboard somewhere where she wouldn't go to.
Was your mother a big reader?
No, she didn't read, no.
Newspapers, you said, the
She,
Polish.
the Polish, Jerzy, yeah.
And did she read that newspaper?
Just the obituary.
Oh, just the obituary.
Yeah.
Was your father a big reader?
No, no.
I wonder how it stepped down to you. I wonder how you became a good reader.
Well, I was reading when I was a young kid.
Was your two brothers a good reader?
Stevie was, Lucky was, though. Lucky was too much on a go, too much on a move.
But it turned out that your brother Lucky, God bless his soul, he was a newspaper reporter, so he must have retained.
Well, he got that through the Navy. He was the Coast Guard. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's very interesting. So.
Well, he's working at Tonawanda News, which was a third-class newspaper.
Okay. Okay.
And he's working nights only.
Yeah. Speaking about reading, to this day, Mr. Jeckovich is knocking on the door of 100, and he reads through newspapers every morning, including the Wall Street Journal, and the best part, no glasses. No glasses.
No, it's getting, I'm starting to read glasses because the type is getting small, and the space between the letters are getting smaller too. They want to put more paper, news in the paper now.
Yeah. But interesting enough, you did quite well. Most people at 30 or 40 are using glasses to read. Yeah. You're knocking on the door of 100 and no glasses. By the way, Mr. Jeckovich, just a tidbit of information on his longevity. He jogged for 80 years.
Yeah.
Did you smoke?
No.
Did you drink?
No.
Mr. Jeckovich never took a prescription or never took a vitamin in his life.
Yeah.
So, a clean living, easily take you to 100. Look at your TV screens. Look how healthy and vigorous he looks. If you would shake your hand.
That's the genes. That was the genes. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not taking credit for all that.
Okay, but let me just go a step further then about the genes. How old was your father when he died?
43.
How old was your mother?
89.
89. And you're 100 now. That's pretty good.
I'm right in the middle of the odds.
Well, you're doing pretty good. You beat the system as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anyone that's 100, to be quite honest with you. I don't know anyone. Life expectancy is 75. You retire at 65, and you have 10 years of your retirement, and then you're basically...
1980 I retired.
Yeah, let me just say something. Many people today retire at 65. The life expectancy of a male is 75, so you got basically 10 years, and that's it to retire. So let's get back to you. How many years have you been retired?
Since 1980.
So you've been retired over 45 years.
Yeah.
God bless you. You beat the system. You beat the system big time. You won it. You beat the system. You won the lottery. 45 years of retirement. I never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, 1980.
You beat the system, and you're in good shape.
Well, I just walked out of Kimberly-Clark that one day, and that was it.
Okay, let's talk about this a tad. Mr. Jeckovich, how many years did you work at Kimberly-Clark?
I say 35.
19? You worked there for 35 years?
Yeah.
How did you get to work every day?
Walked.
What about a snowstorm?
Well, I walked all the time.
What about a rainstorm?
Walked.
Did your car tires ever touch the Kimberly-Clark?
No. I never took the car there.
Never. Minutes?
10.
Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit further. So you worked there for 35 years. Did you ever miss a day?
No. Never late either.
Tell us about the machines you operated there.
I was in the machine room.
And tell us what that's all about.
That was the center point of the whole thing. That's where we made the paper.
Uh-huh.
Going through the dryers, we started in the beater room where they made the slop together, put it in the on the wire. The boiler continuously running, drain it out, and then throw it up into the dryer.
Okay, so you went from World War II, the Battle of Bulge, where it was basically 30 below, the coldest winter of record in Bastogne, And then you went to Kimberly-Clark.
Yeah.
What was the temperature there?
In the room I was working in, probably 120.
So you went from 30
And
below.
noisy too, you couldn't talk in there.
So it's very loud.
Well, you had the sign languages. The dryers and everything else makes too much noise.
Okay. So you went from the Battle of Bulge, 30 below, the coldest winter record, to Kimberly-Clark, 120, 130.
Yeah.
What kind of, did you have to wear a shirt?
A t-shirt and a pair of pants.
That was it?
Yeah.
You must have been soaking wet. You must have been soaking wet.
Well, summertime was bad, yeah.
Wow. And what did this machine actually look like?
It was a mile long.
A mile long. And what did you make?
Paper.
What type of paper?
Paper that you could print on, 50, 60-pound paper that you print on both sides.
Would that be like a high glossy paper?
Yeah, yeah.
And what was it used for? Primarily magazines?
Magazines.
It's still going today.
Oh, yeah.
It's still going today. Wow. Did a lot of World War II vets work at Kimberly-Clark?
Now?
Then?
No, no, no.
And what made you decide on working at Kimberly compared to the 20 other factories in town?
Well, I worked with my uncle. I worked in every factory in Buffalo and New York, and Buffalo in the United States, or Buffalo and Niagara Falls. And I knew what they were. I didn't want to say I didn't want to work at any of them.
Okay, so you worked at Croisdale's with your uncle Andy doing aluminum work in all the factories as an independent operator.
Yeah, duct work we did.
And so it gave you a feel of what these factories are working.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever think about working at Carbide?
No, we went to Carbide. I wouldn't work at any on Buffalo Avenue. None.
Hooker?
No, they're all on Buffalo Avenue.
But it was the cleanest operation was Kimberly-Clark.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said you never missed a day, and if we back up a few minutes, you said that one day you walked out.
Yeah.
What happened?
I just got wrapped my towel, my clothes with a towel and walked out.
For what reason?
I had enough of them.
Okay.
I put 2 dryer felts on that day, which was unusual, and I left.
And that was it?
Yeah, I didn't tell her. I punched out, and that was it.
Did they come looking for you?
No, then I asked her nothing.
Did you get your final paycheck?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Tell us about how Kimberly-Clark treated you as a World War II combat hero. How did they treat you?
They didn't probably know I was.
Well, how did they treat you as a 35-year devoted employee with your pension?
They never got it.
You never got
still
it?
fighting. They're still fighting it.
Okay, let me add a little bit to this. World War II, Mr. Jeckovich goes out of the war, starts working at Kimberly-Clark for 35 years. What happens? Legally, but not humane. Kimberly-Clark did a fancy legal maneuver, sent the ownership to a different company, a shell company in Canada, and later they expeditiously filed bankruptcy for that company in Canada.
Yeah, NITEC, yeah.
So what happened? When that takes place, back then, 30 years ago, the World War II vets and the guys that got a pension coming are totally screwed out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no one worried about it.
Never got a dime. Never got a dime. I say legal, but not humane. So they're paying the consequences in a small way. People like me and other people that are aware of this. For example, at all my commercial properties, there's always a standing memo that you do not buy any Kimberly-Clark products. Kleenexes, toilet paper, Kotex tissues, anything that has a Kimberly-Clark brand on it.
I don't think there was a restriction on them, though.
But my places, they do. You can, and many people do this. Occasionally, I'll check on my properties from time to time, and maybe by error, some of the employees bought a Kimberly-Clark product. We remove them, we take them to the dumpster, and we go over the instructions. Never, ever purchase Kimberly-Clark products. So we take them and throw them in the dumpsters. Some days if we're feeling a little bit, just a little bit different that day and we're full of energy, we'll take the Kimberly-Clark products to the back parking lot of our properties, and we'll piss on them, rightfully so, right? And they deserve it. They deserve it. They screwed every one of these veterans out of their pension. It would have been so nice that they honored it and gave these men several.
Yeah, but you were sacrificing that. You would get the news in the paper. Kimberly-Clark was still putting the news, magazines. You were getting information, but you were deprived because you wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, right. You're right. But that's the story of Kimberly-Clark. So avoid them. You don't want to do business with a dishonorable company.
It was Nitec. They sold out. Nitec.
Yeah. So you know what goes on behind closed doors always comes to the light of day. It's just a rule. It's always going to happen. Kimberly-Clark pulled a shady deal, perfectly legal on the books, but not humane. So several years later, they're paying because there's many people, thousands of people like me, that will never buy the product just to honor the World War II vets. They just simply won't do it. So remember, whatever goes behind closed doors will always.
Well, you're saying that people aren't buying them because they're honoring the vets. I don't think the majority of people know what a veteran is.
They're unaware of it, but I'm just saying the ones that they're in the loop like me and others.
I mean, maybe their son was involved in it, but
they're just a shady company. I wouldn't give them the time of day. I really wouldn't. 3.5 minutes, right? Did you work with many people on your street at Kimberly-Clark? Did many of your neighbors work at Kimberly-Clark?
No, next door. Belinsky worked there.
Was he a good worker?
I don't know. He worked in the other department.
Did he? Did you ever walk to work with him?
No.
Did he have like lockers next to you?
Yeah, but he was down there for years. They came up with our second floor.
Did you ever find out why?
I asked him. I didn't want to ask him, but he figured that we had a better shower room or something. That's why he came up.
I see. I mean, you don't have any type of accent, but many people on Orleans Avenue had a great accent. Did Belinsky have an accent?
They talked the Polish. They talked their native tongue.
And how would that be? What would be how they sound?
Well, it's all to sound with an accent.
I see. But why don't you have an accent?
Because my father said we were here in America, we talk English. We don't talk Russian, we don't talk Polish.
Yes. Your father was a very smart man.
Yeah.
So how did Belinsky, what did he sound like?
Oh, Belinsky?
When he talked?
Yeah, an accent.
Like what? Give me an example. What?
Well, when he got the attitude, he's so smarter than anybody else.
So he think he was smarter than everybody else. Was he?
No, he worked in the calendar room, sitting on his ass all day.
What was a calendar room?
They took that paper and put it on a big press and put the shine on it so they could put it on both sides of the paper.
What did he say when he was ripped off of his pension?
Oh, he cried about it. He used to got me running around making petitions up and everything. He didn't. They ignored him. They ignored him.
I see. Wow. Did you have a lunchroom there?
Huh?
Did you have a lunchroom there?
Yeah.
I thought you said your grandson that's working there now, the lunchroom was the same.
Oh yeah, the same, yeah.
It was no different, right?
No.
That's interesting how since the World War II, it didn't change.
Still on that corner, still on the corner.
Wow.
And it probably didn't change because the building was a lot older than Dad, so it's been that way probably for 100 years.
The building was older than you.
Yeah.
So the lunchroom's probably been that way for over 100 years. Minutes, please.
Well, then they had a cafeteria then.
Oh, was the food good?
Oh yeah. Well, they had a dietitian working on it.
And what kind of meals would you have there?
You had a meal at supper time, or if you were working lunch, you could get lunch if you had the time off.
Didn't you date a girl there once?
The scheduler, yeah.
And then what happened to that?
Well, that kind of faded out after a while.
Didn't she want to go out with someone that wore a suit and tie?
Well, no, that was somebody else. He's
such a girl's name.
I can't keep up with all those girls. I can't keep up with all your girlfriends.
Yeah.
I
had 4 girlfriends in World War II.
I know, I can't. Wait, how are you fighting a war with 4 girlfriends?
Yeah, 4 girlfriends.
We can't keep up with you. we can't keep up